Hello again. Right to Die activist Professor Sean Davison says he will continue to campaign for changes to assisted suicide laws in the country. He was released from house arrest yesterday after serving a 3-year sentence. The 56-year-old was sentenced for helping 3 terminal ill patients die in 2019. He says he acted out of compassion and does not consider himself to be a murderer. Davison says he's now become even more driven to fight for people's right to die. In 2011, Davison was convicted of helping his mother die. He was given a lenient sentence of 5 months as the judge took his compassion into account.
I did not cross the line. I helped my mother to die out of compassion. And I helped the 3 men to die in Cape Town out of compassion. Compassion is compassion. Why should the compassion for my mother be any different from the compassion I felt for these men? I did not cross the line. There was no line to cross.
That's you, Davison, speaking there yesterday. Thanks for joining us here on Today on eNCA. Waking up today, let's say it's day 2 of your freedom, still no regrets about what happened in the past?
No regrets at all. I did nothing wrong, and I'm going to now continue campaigning for a law change. Clearly, what I did was not a crime. I think anyone understanding the circumstances will appreciate that. The 3 men I helped were all desperate to die because of their condition and unable to do it themselves. That is the really important thing to understand, that these men wanted to die but could not do it alone. I am not a murderer. I only helped them to do what they wanted to do in their lives.
Now, compassion, in your views, then, would trump any accusation of you being a murderer?
Yes, I'm certainly not a murderer. I'm a family man. I would rather not be talking to you today. I'd rather not be campaigning for a law change. I want to be sitting at home with my children, having a peaceful life. But when being a family man, I want to be able to live with myself and not be ashamed of what I didn't do. Helping those men was the right thing to do.
The Right to Die, Dignity SA is your organization. The Right to Die has received a lot of support over the years, including from the late Emeritus Archbishop Desmond Mpilo Tutu, and a number of other people have done so. So in your view, what should change to make sure that this conversation we're having today in future does not happen?
We need a law change. We need the politicians to put their heads above the parapet and start engaging in the debate. Our politicians are too fearful of getting involved in this discussion because it's too controversial. What kind of country allows its terminally ill and its elderly people to suffer so horrendously because the issue is too controversial? Sadly, it is happening in this country.
What do you say to people? What do you say to people still today? You mentioned the law that you are playing God.
Sorry, I didn't understand the question.
What do you say? How do you are mentioning that the laws need to change, but there are some critics of assisted suicide, let's call it, or euthanasia, who say that we shouldn't be playing God. How do you respond to those critics?
Oh, playing God? No, to me, this is not an issue at all. When you think of playing God, the doctors are playing God. Compared to 20, 30, 50 years ago, we're now living way beyond our natural lifespan. In a way, doctors are playing God, keeping us alive. The law has to be adjusted to accommodate that for the very old age we're living and the suffering that can go with that. It is a complex issue to deal with in a few minutes on a TV interview.
Okay, yeah, no, it's a complex issue. I know we need more time, which we don't have, unfortunately, this hour. But as we conclude, very briefly from you, what are your next steps now? Now you've served your time. What's next for you now?
Now we are taking a case to the High Court. It has already begun. A man by the name of Dieter Haak is terminally ill and applied for an assisted death. If we lose, or if he loses in the High Court, we're going to take it to the Constitutional Court. The country, South Africa, has one of the most liberal constitutions in the world, and dignity in life is the theme of that constitution. We believe dignity in dying is part of dignity of life, and we're confident of winning in the Constitutional Court.
Professor Davison, thank you very much for your time this hour on Today eNCA, his second day of freedom after serving 3 years of house arrest for assisted suicide. In 2019, sentenced to 3 years for assisting 3 men. He also assisted his mom as well to die.